So, quick introduction to Playwright and MCP. So, Playwright, you all should know what Playwright is at this stage. I've been working on Playwright on the Playwright team for 3 years, and Playwright's at least 4 years now at this stage. So, you should all know what it is. But if you don't, you're in the right place. Playwright is an open source automation library, and it's designed for reliable browser testing. So, testing your applications using automation so that you don't have to manually just go and like type in all this stuff in a form and see if something works like we did in the olden days. Although some people still do that because they're not using Playwright. Playwright's about end-to-end testing. That's what we focus on. So it allows developers to write end-to-end tests that are reliable because we include things like auto waiting. So when the page loads, it waits for that button to be ready to be clickable, as opposed to having to think about timeouts and things like that. And the same with its assertions. So auto retrying assertion is going to retry and retry until it passes or until the timeout is reached. And that's all done for you. So you don't have to think about doing all that, which is it's just amazing the way that's all built in. I think people don't even realize how that's how Playwright is just so good to use and to work with. And then we've got the model context protocol. Now, there's probably already been a couple of talks about this already. You've probably already seen some of this. And it's if you're new to MCP as well, don't worry because it's pretty new still. It's not even a year old, right? So it's the fastest growing thing ever in tech these days. But it's really cool. And the Model Context Protocol just provides a standard way to connect AI models to different data sources and tools. And what it does with Playwright is it's connecting Playwright to agents. So agents can basically automate browsers, and like not just run tests, but actually go and open the website and do all those actions that a user would do that a manual tester would do. And that's what makes it very cool. Now, when it comes to AI powered debugging, there's a couple of things that are pretty new in Playwright. If you haven't seen them, it's simple thing. They're very simple, but they work very well. We got copy prompt. So copy prompt is basically copying a prompt into the LLM of your choice to help with debugging. And that's available in UI mode if you're running your tests in UI mode, that's MPX Playwright test dash dash UI. A test fails, and in the error message, you've got a copy prompt button. You copy, paste it into your LLM of choice, and it will just help you fix that error, give you some guidelines of what is going wrong. And that's also in the HTML reporter and the trace viewer, which means yes, on CI. So if something fails on CI, you've got that copy prompt button in the trace viewer, and then you can just like easily debug it much better from CI. Like that's insane. Then you got fix with AI. This is if you're using the VS Code extension. If your test fails, you got this little sparkly icon. And if you click that, it will just go along and fix your test. Well, I say this, but it will try and fix your test, right? I'm not going to promise you that every time you click that button, it's going to fix your test. It depends on lots of things. But how it works is because it provides context. Playwright is giving the context to the AI through the prompt and error messages. And you'll kind of see that. We'll have a look at that as well today. And because it does that, basically what agents need is more context. The more context you give, the better. So instead of you having to give them context, we're giving them the context for you. So yes, AI-driven browser interactions using the Playwright MCP. Basically, Playwright MCP gives the LLM, I like to say, gives it superpowers. So it can interact with web pages through accessibility snapshots. So it's using snapshots of the accessibility tree, and that makes it fast and lightweight. And it's instead of pixel-based input, for example, there's no vision mode is needed, and it's very cool. And we're going to really dive into that in a minute. So we're going to go straight into a demo. So let's do this. Now, if you've never seen the Playwright MCP, it's under github.com, Microsoft Playwright-MCP, and this is just the GitHub repo. We don't have a good documentation page yet, so this is the guide that you can go to find out all the information. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. I can try my browser on full screen, probably. Right, let's dive into this. I'll figure out how to share my slides better in the future. I want to dive straight into code. Before I do that, I want to give you a disclaimer, big disclaimer here. I'm going to show you a demo and it might not work. I'm going to show you a demo about generating tests and it might not work. I'm going to show you a demo about generating tests and it might generate tests that fail. It most probably will generate tests that fail because everyone, this is the world we are living in right now. This is reality, okay? There's no silver bullet. There's no like, this just works. This is going to build your test. Because if that was the case, we'd all be out of jobs right now. We're not out of jobs right now because AI is not yet, maybe will one day, but it's not yet to the standards that we need it to be. So we need to be the ones making sure the prompts are good enough, making sure the tests are good enough, reinforcing and making those tests better. But, and this is the thing, what Playwright can do for you, what MCP can do for you, what AI can do for you, is it can create for you a way for you to basically just be more productive, get more tests written, and take away the hard stuff of just getting started and getting those tests written. Especially for companies that have no tests at all. This is such a great platform for just like getting tests written. But like I said, you're going to see failures here, and that's what we're here for. So I want to show you first of all, how do you install the Playwright MCP? I'm going to use VS Code, of course, but of course you could install the Playwright MCP in any editor of your choice. So when you go to, I've got the Playwright extension in here as well. So when you go into the extensions, you will also see MCP servers, and I'm going to click on Browse MCP servers. So if I click on this, it opens up this page, and we've got a couple of nice MCP servers here, including Microsoft Docs, that you can kind of go through in your own time. But I'm going to focus on Playwright. I'm going to install Playwright, and I'm going to click on Open. And it's basically opening this MCP server Playwright here, and I can just click on this install button. That's how easy it is to install Playwright. If any of you come to me after this talk in a week, in 2 months, and say, I don't have time to install the Playwright MCP server, well, I'm sorry, but it took me 10 seconds right in front of you all. So no excuses. Okay, we now have the Playwright MCP server installed, and we can go ahead, and it's already started, as you can see, but we could restart it, stop it using these tools if needed. And you can check down here in your tools that you come along here, you've got your built-in tools, and then you've got the MCP server, and you can have a look at all the tools that it includes. Things like browser click, browser close, the console messages drag, browser evaluate to evaluate JavaScript, it's pretty cool. File uploads, hovers, navigate back forward, network risk, pestkey, resize, select option, snapshot, tab close, tab list, take screenshots, type, wait for. Really cool. They're the tools that are available to you. Okay. They are selected. I am in agent mode and I'm using Claude Sonnet, but you could use GPT 5, 4.1 if you wanted to. I'm using Sonnet because it's just my friend. Me and Sonnet have been doing a lot of work together, so I'm sticking with Sonnet for now. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Well, I'm going to show you something that is pretty cool, which are I'm going to show you chat modes, instructions, and prompts. And then we're going to go and do some funky stuff. So just bear with me. I have some custom chat modes in here. I've got a test explorer chat mode and a test generator chat mode. Let's focus on the generator first. I think we're going to generate before we explore, just because I think it's interesting. So in here, we write a description, we get some tools. So what tools is allowed? So I've given it Playwright and some other tools that it can use. And I'm even specifying the model just because I want it to use this one. And then I give it some core responsibilities. It's going to be a test generator, generate comprehensive Playwright tests. It's got my workflow, website exploration, test planning, etc., etc. Some do nots, right? Do not generate test code based on the scenario alone. Always explore the website first. Really important. Do save generate tests in the test directory, do execute tests. So just some rules, right? So I'm just giving that in there. Now that's the chat mode. And I'll show you in a moment. Well, actually, I'll show you right now. So you can just click here and these are my chat modes. So you can configure modes there and you can create your own chat mode. So these are my chat modes. Obviously, chat mode is an agent, but it's in a special agent. Yeah, like special agent. I like that. So test explorer, test generator, and that's where they come from in the chat modes folder. And it's just .chatmode.md file. I have it in my .github folder. Cool. Instructions. Another thing I find really important because I want my code to be written a specific way. So I put in here how I want it to be written. So I basically tell it the code quality standards I require, the timeouts, the clarity, the test structure, the organization, the hooks, the file organization, assertion, best practices. So I'm really like, come on, I even given an example of like, this is what I expect. This is the kind of code I expect from you. So this is something that you can do depending on what you choose and how you want to write your tests. Maybe you want them in POM, maybe you want fixtures to be used. You can do all that. So just basically decide how you want it and tell the agent that. Okay, cool. Next is prompts. Okay, prompts I have a lot of prompts in here. And I want to show you a couple of prompts today, but basically you can have as many prompts as you want. And prompts are reusable prompts, something that you're going to reuse again and again. Now, I have done a dummy one today that I'm not going to reuse again, but imagine a reusable scenario. So I'm going to open this one here, which is a generate tests for TestMu conf. So normally what I do is in here, I say like ask for a website and a scenario, and then I put it in the chat. But just to simplify it, I've just put it in here and I've basically said generate a comprehensive playwright test for the registration scenario on the TestMu conference website. And I've asked it to basically explore the website, generate tests, validate, refine, giving it some, again, instructions and making sure that tests are resilient and maintainable, etc. Okay, now that we've got everything set up, and this takes a bit of time first, right? You got to sit down and think things through and go, right, I'll get my chat mode done, my instructions done, my prompt done, and then I'll go bang. Because if you just go, just generate tests, it might do things a bit weird. You might get locators that are wrong, etc. So this is how I do things. Now, this is the scary part. I'm going to press this button here, which basically is going to run this prompt. And now I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. I did run this a couple of times today, but we'll see. So this is basically asking, can it go and do this? And I'm going to go allow in this session, and I'm going to allow it to navigate. So that website has just been opened up by the Playwright MCP server. So it's navigating to the side. It can see the conference page. Now I'm allowing these tools. You could basically not allow them or allow them per session, per workspace, etc. Sometimes I like to see the continue button so I can stop at a talk and just kind of like slowly go through things. But sometimes it's nice to just like, yeah, just keep going, just do your thing. So I first of all do want to apologize to the Lambda test to the TestMu conference for all the registrations that I performed today with the Playwright MCP while I was demoing all this stuff before my talk. So basically, yes, this is me being doing this all day. So if you've had a look, if there's been a lot of John Does turning up to the conference, it's all my fault. So Playwright has got and run a page snapshot. And basically it's got and registered, it's got the John Doe attendee. John Doe is attending again, and he's from the test company. And it can basically see that yes, this form works, and it's been easy to register it. So this is the Playwright MCP in action. It can go to a website, it can perform those actions very quickly for you. And at the moment, it's just telling me what it did. But what we want it to do is basically generate some test code that actually works. That's the key. And if it doesn't, we'll debug it with AI. We'll get AI to debug the code that AI wrote. That's the fun in it all. So it's created a spec file, and now it's going and running the test. So I'm going to say, we'll look at the test code in a minute, but let's have a look and let's let it go ahead and run it first. So it's running that test, and you can see down here in the workers. Let me see, I'll just bring that up. Okay, so you can see that the test has failed, right? Okay, 50-50. I mean, that's not bad, right? Yeah, it's not bad at all. So the verify the form field characteristics and limitations passed, registration form validation passed, verify page navigation and key links functionality failed, and complete the conference registration with valid user details failed. Now, when we click on this, we can open it up and we can have a look at what failed, right? And there's the copy prompt button that I was telling you about just there on the screen. So I can basically copy that prompt. Okay. I can go along here. Now I can even see there's a nice screenshot. There's a video of like what was going on. So I could totally like go ahead and basically like go into this and debug it from here. But the agent is actually still working. Now, the thing is, when it opens up the HTML report in terminal, the agent is kind of paused. So what I'm going to do is I copy the prompt, I could paste it in here, but instead of pasting in, I'm actually just going to close the HTML report. And I'm going to see what the agent does and see if the agent actually goes ahead and fix the test. So let's open the test file so we can see it. And basically, the test has the issues. There are multiple speaker links causing strict mode violations. That's a typical Playwright error that you come across a lot. So it's going to fix it for us by selecting a better locator. And the heading name doesn't exactly match what's in the DOM. So it's going ahead and fixing that. So that's cool. So again, the agent still hasn't finished, but I could just totally go and stop that agent process and copy prompt, paste in there, and actually just give it some. We'll see how it gets on. So it's going to run the tests again. Um, and yeah, accessibility snapshots normally fail when they first get generated. So now it's actually gotten worse, right? So AI has gone down a rabbit hole and gone and actually not fixed the first two and failed the last two. So this is sometimes where you decide, what should I do? Should I let it keep going, right? Or should I step in and give it a bit more context and let it help itself? So again, the problem is the strict mode violations here. So it should be able to fix this because it has the snapshot of the page, but it's somehow in its context of its memory, it somehow has not figured out what it has to do here. So it's coming up with a good idea, but I might have to help it out with the actual debugging tools. Um, so let's see what it does first. Let's see if it does this better, and if not, we'll step in and we'll use those tools to debug it a little bit better. Okay, that's better. We've got 3 passing and 1 failed. Let's have a look at what the first one failed. So it's basically expecting the text, the date, right? This should be a simple fix. So August 19th to 21, 2025, August 19th to 21. I mean, looks pretty good. If I'm looking at this here, I'm like, yeah, I think this is right. This is kind of hard to debug, right? Because it looks good. It looks good. So what do I do? And that's where we go, copy prompt. Let's go ahead and do that. Copy prompt. I'm going to stop it this time. I'm going to actually just press stop. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep the test. The test is good. And then I'm just going to paste in here. Now, I didn't point this out, but you see that the way test generator just automatically got chosen? That was from my prompt. I'll show you that in a second. But let me just paste in my context message and let's press play and let's move this to full screen a little bit so you can see this is what basically I copied in, right? This is a lot of stuff. This is pretty amazing, right? So this is what the Playwright tool has given me. It's given me all this. Like, there's no way I'd be able to give all this context to AI, give all this stuff, right? There are the instructions, the test info, the error details, everything that it needs or that we can possibly give it for it to be able to do a good job, right? So let's go down to the end and see if it actually has started. It's summarizing the conversation history. That's normal because there's a lot of stuff in there to summarize. Um, so let me see. Too much in here. Okay, error analysis. The test is failing due to a strict mode. Oh my God, it's because of like lowercase and uppercase. Did you all see that? I didn't see that. My eyes did not see that. There's no way. Really? Seriously? Oh my God. Like that is just like the simplest thing. AUG and AUG, like I don't know. It's basically, yeah, how did we not see that? Anyway, that's what's happening. So we're going to go ahead and apparently it's fixed it. And let's go back to this mode so I can see that it's in here. I'm going to keep that one change. That one change has been performed here. Let's go and keep it. And we can go ahead and run this test. Um, this was the first test. Let's go ahead and run it with the VS Code extension. Um, or will we do it well, we could do it with the VS Code extension by clicking this right here, but I might actually run it with UI mode just because it's quite cool. MPX Playwright. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Playwright test dash dash UI. I quite like to switch between the VS Code and UI mode just because sometimes it just gives me like all this kind of easy to see. And you've got watch mode as well. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can all see it a bit better. And I know there's a couple of questions there about instruction stuff. I'll go over that in a second. Let me just run this and see if this actually passes, and it failed. Oh, damn. This is where you go, AI doesn't work, and you walk away and you give up. You say, I'm better than AI. And you know what? You probably are, but AI is just faster than you. Like, that's just the way it is. Um, although maybe you're not. I don't know. But AI is faster than me, that's for sure. So the actual thing is that it fixed the date, right? And it's true. Look, it is in uppercase. I never even noticed the difference. Wow. And then this is like free online conference. There's something wrong with here, a strict mode violation. So this is a pretty simple one that basically needs to find this free online conference because remember this is a DOM snapshot. I can actually just go ahead and even pop that out into a full window and search for what is it, free online, right? There is actually two instances of it. It's there as well, right? So we can see that yeah, Playwright is right. This is actually appears in two places. So we could go ahead and use our copy. locator here, see if it gives me a better one. We could do exact three, but that's not gonna do much for us. So we need to get a guy to help us out here, or we'd have to go in and look at the code a little bit and kind of see where it is in the tree. Let's go copy prompt. Let's go along here. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to run it here and show you how to do it in the VS Code extension because that's the same as the HTML report, the copy prompt button. Let's run it here so I can show you how it works in VS Code. So VS Code is giving me this error here. I think where's the error of the test? From here, I can see this little icon here of saying that it has failed. So I can basically just click on that. Now it's also over here. I've got this. If I could, I can also run the test from this area, right? And I can have this icon, this stars magic icon, right? So fix test failure, and we can go ahead and just click that here. And what that does is it's basically right at the point of the test. It needs to fix the strict mode violation. It's finding two. We kind of saw that. It's looking at the test failure. There are two elements at similar text. And it's gone ahead. Now it's added a first in here, right? Now, you're going to say to me, but that's terrible. That's just a first. Like you should totally, and you're right. Okay. AI is going to do in the fix it AI. This test should pass, right? But you might want to go ahead and make that a better locator by basically, saying a filtering from something like whatever that component that it's in. So you can go ahead and refine that a bit better. I'm just showing you how that, oh my God, our test failed again, right? But I'm just showing you how, oh, the privacy policy, right? So again, I'm just going to click buttons and let it go and fix it. But it's just helping me out and it's saving my day here, even though, yes, it's probably still needs refining. You still should go over that and just improve it, especially those strict mode violations if there's any first that in there. So like, look at this. This is giving me a page.locator register ID equals register first. I don't really like that. Okay, so I could basically say like, I don't want that, or I could say, do you know what? Well, that's the only kind of like locator with an ID. Maybe we could get my test ID, or we could just go ahead and accept it, and then we could manually come along here and improve that. Right? That's up to you. Like I said, AI is not going to make your life do all the work for you. It's going to make your life easier, but it's not going to like fix everything. So this is a really fast way getting through the test, especially when you're like really need to get some like we're down now to this next steps, right? So we're really and this is like look how much test code was actually generated. Like it's pretty insane, right? We generated that in seconds. So I could keep going through this and fixing this. Um this is um this is doing it one by one. I could have actually kept in agent mode and that the agent mode would have been faster rather than me doing a fix by fix. So that's the difference between when you get your tests in agent mode to do it. Agent mode just goes through it and iterates and keeps going. Whereas here I've got to run, play, it will stop. I do one fix. It doesn't actually add up all the fixes, right? So it's a little bit kind of more tedious, but it's still a very helpful way. So we've seen how to run our tests in copy prompt with the HTML report. The trace viewer is pretty much the same as the UI mode here. So you got the copy prompt in here. And again, I can press play from here, from VS Code, run my tests in different scenarios, and use those errors and copy prompts and fix with AI to improve my testing. Okay, cool. Let's move on because I want to show you some a bit more cool things. I think that's pretty clear. We don't want to spend the whole conference talk just fixing tests, even though it's kind of fun these days fixing tests. Let's go back to my test folder structure here. So you can see I've seen a couple of people basically said test generator, that's new. Yeah, that's a custom chat mode that I created. I call it test generator. I could have called it Debbie's superpower tester, whatever you want, right? And the name that you call it here is the name that shows up down in this down here. So that's basically how that works. Um, let me see, where am I going? This one here. So we've got our test generator here. And if I change it, I can just quickly change it to test explorer, which is this chat mode here. And then what I do is in my prompts, so we had a generate test prompt, and I can see here the mode I have is test generator, right? So that's basically how I get it to automatically select the chat mode that I want by basically telling this prompt, I want it to use this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the explore website prompt. Okay. And This one is basically using the Test Explorer chat mode. Let's go ahead and press play and see what happens. It will actually open up a new chat anyway, I think. So that's cool. No, it didn't. Okay, let's stop that just so it doesn't get confused. Let's go ahead and run prompt in new chat. Just so we got a clean slate, just so AI doesn't get a little bit kind of confused from its previous context memory going on. Now, it's asking me to go ahead and give it a scenario. So can you please provide the website URL that you'd like me to explore and analyze? So let's go ahead and explore this website that you're all been using today for the conference because it's actually very cool and it's got a lot of cool stuff that can be tested out. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, while that's doing its thing, what it's gonna do is because I said to it, I was like, explore the website. So it's actually having to scroll down to the bottom of the page there to explore more of the page and understand the registration form, other key sections. It's typing some text in there. So it's pretty similar to the scenario we gave it. Only this is what I'm doing is I'm asking it to actually just go ahead and explore a website and come up with some key features. I said three just because I don't want AI to go a bit crazy, but you could put in four, five. You could just put in all of them, and it just might take quite a long time. So for this talk, I've basically said identify three critical user journeys and interactions. Thank you for sharing those links there in the chat. I am seeing that. You can get them, yes, from my website. And I also have this here in my GitHub, Playwright MCP prompts, and you can find all those, everything I'm sharing today. I'm pushing them today, even the Lambda one, I'll push that as well. But you can find all these here and you can just copy them to your heart's content. And you can also use the GitHub awesome Copilot. There's even more in here. So this is really cool, not just Playwright stuff, but also other chat modes. You're just using chat modes for the first time, it's really cool stuff in there. 4.1 Beast chat mode is very good, apparently. Is all the hype. So do test that out as well. Right, let's go back to where we were. Um, so it's summarizing the conversation history. Let's go to the agenda page. There we go. There's the agenda. It's having a look at what's on. And it can see that clicking the agenda link has successfully loaded the full agenda page. This is great. And there's that you can see like it's just doing its stuff, which is really cool. And it's viewing, you can see where you see the refs equal. That's actually how Playwright references the things on the page, right? So that's where that's coming from. So it's just something that Playwright's using to find something on the page. So that's the agenda structure, and it's going to navigate to the final major page, participate and win. Cool. I want to participate and win. So you can see how it's even just opened up a new tab, and I'm testing across two tabs now because this website is built. It opens up a different page. So this is it's kind of very cool. So there's like three journeys, right? Look at these icons in there and everything. I love it. Let's pull the this over so we can see it. Okay, it's giving us a lot of information here. Accessibility insights, loving the icons shown in there. Let's hover up a little bit and have a look. So the comprehensive website report. And again, I could turn around and say, create a markdown file for this, or, I don't just want it in chat. So I can go ahead and say, just create this in an actual file. So that's, again, there's the sky is the limit. I'm showing you something so simple and so small, but I want you to think about all the things that you can do with this because it is insane. So here's the main architecture, the technology stack. So this is a React based SPA with some worker issues, non-block CSP worker issues. It's navigation pattern, horizontal top navigation with main conference sections, homepage, speakers, agenda, participate and win. So the critical user journey is identified, entry point, process, speaker and content discovery, competition participation, interactive elements, catalog, registration form. So this is just like making me understand the website. If I was to go along and have to test a website that I have no access to code, this is really, really cool. And I obviously don't have the code to this website, right? But this is really cool because I can understand how the page works and what I would need to test. Testing potential recommendations, the registration flow. Of course, this is a conference. There's a conference on where people need to make sure that submission works. I tested out today with John Doe. It definitely works. There's multiple page navigation, responsive designs, a couple of things. that need to be tested, and edge cases, long speaker names, UI layout with extended content. That's something I never thought about. What if you do have this really long name? Does it matter? Maybe it does. Large agenda data. So again, this is really cool, right? So and then I could go ahead and say, right now, go ahead and generate that test for me. But I don't want to do that today because we've already generated a test, and I want to show you something else that's kind of cool. What should we do? Manual test plan, test report. Um, let's go ahead with this one. Um, so this is create a comprehensive test plan based on existing test reports. So let's do the test report first. We don't have a test report. So this is basically asking it to go to a URL and report back in clear natural language what steps you performed. Right. Let's see if what the difference in this is compared to generating tests with Playwright. So I'm going to press play. It should ask me for a scenario, and it does. So I'm just going to go and press this one here to get that. Let's test a scenario. So let's test the registration form. Registration form. I mean, how many more John Does can we have for today? Well, let's go ahead and see. So this is going to go ahead and it's going to open up that browser again, which is already open here. There we go. It's got the registration form. Going to click. Can see the registration form, great. And it's taking a screenshot, right? That's pretty cool. We can use that later. Now it's typing. Jane. Oh, we got a Jane today. Jane Doe. I've had Jojo all morning, so I'm glad Jane came up for the conference. We've got to be inclusive. That's very nice of you. So Jane Doe.test@example.com. Great. So tech solutions. We're gonna fill out that form, and what we're hoping to get is basically a kind of did I say a report or plan? I can't remember. A report or plan in natural language as opposed to writing a playwright test. Again, that's up to you. What you want the agent to do, what you want the playwright MCP to give you back. Do you want a playwright code? Do you just want like a report that you could just give to someone, say, hey, like I need to investigate more and test your website because, and here's the report. It's kind of cool, right? All right. So Jane Doe has been registered for the conference and Jane Doe is now online. Now you can see when Playwright has this red thing here, right? It's having a problem, and then it runs a page snapshot to get a better idea of the actual page, the accessibility tree, to be able to then understand better. And then it's able to navigate, go back and do whatever it needs to do. So now it's summarizing its conversation history. Let's pull that across so we can look at this a little bit better. And if you ever want to like investigate more, you can click in here and see like what was going on, what it was trying to do, etc. So this is really interesting sometimes just to kind of like, I don't know, just play around with. But yeah, you can always open these up and have a look. So this is, let me, while it's doing that, let me show you. This was the manual test report. So manually test a site and create a report. And I think I told it to do it in a manual test directory. And I think I told it to do it in Markdown, if I remember correctly. Now the registration successful. Oh, it's actually gone on and doing more things. So this is sometimes a problem when you're like, okay, that's enough. It's doing 2 or 3 things. It's going to close the browser session and it's going to generate a comprehensive manual testing report. Perfect. Thank you. So there it's got the manual test folder, which is here. And any moment now, it's going to generate that report. So this is very, very useful. At least I hope you think that this is very, very useful because there are so many things that you can do with this that it can just save you time, especially when you're giving a website a test and you don't even know where to start. This can come up with like some great edge cases. And maybe you think, you know what, I'm going to use code gen. I'm going to generate that code myself. I'm going to write that code myself. Totally fine. Go ahead and do that. If you don't want AI to generate the test code for you, use it to help you explore, to help you generate, to help you get a test a test report, to get you to do things that are boring that you don't like doing, right? Let's have a look at this report and see what it's like. Let's just press keep so I see it in in properly and and you can see this is a really long report, right? This is insane, right? How long would it take you to create this? Like, come on, this is cool. So I asked for it like this. You might like it in a different way. I've seen someone take my example and go off and create a HTML page that you can actually open up and it's beautifully designed. So again, absolutely endless what you can do with this. but you can see like what it's just done, the areas tested, page navigation and load, page field validation, form submissions, the action navigated to, the results, page loaded successfully, main conference page displayed, form is clearly visible. Again, this is doing it in natural language. That's what I asked for, natural language, no code, natural language. And this is what I'm getting. This is something you can give to a manager and say, this is the test data that was used. Like, this is fantastic. All fields accepted, input correctly, no character limit violations, email format accepted, test input fields were responsive, and the required checkbox successfully checked. Like, that's cool. So they've got a really good site. They obviously know how to test. So this is great. So yeah, basically that's all I wanted to show you. So really, seriously, I've showed you how easy it is to install a Playwright MCP server. If you don't know where to um, start with some prompts. You don't even need chat modes to start with. You can just use agent mode. But start with some reusable prompts or just write them in the actual um, chat box itself. And if you're looking at where to get these from, you can find all kind of things there on GitHub, awesome Copilot, or my personal website. You've got these ones here, and I'll push that one I did just right now to production. So you'll have that as well if you want to play around and test out the Lambda test site and give them more Jane Does and John Does. They'll probably kill me. Don't do that. So yes, that's it. That's all I want to show you. So if there's any questions, I'm ready.
Thank you, Debbie, for such an amazing session. It's so knowledgeable. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure our viewers must be having a lot of questions that they want to ask. So I'll just quickly put up the first question right here. All right. So it's by Paul Filio. What level of expertise or upskilling is required for QA and development teams to effectively use Playwright MCP's AI capabilities?
That is a very good question. And I think it's not really a level of expertise or upskilling. If you already know how Playwright works, then you just need to understand a little bit about using AI. And the best way to do that is to use it, to play with it, create prompts. It's not going to work. You're going to get annoyed. Then it's going to do better. Then you're going to get annoyed. You're going to change the model, give it a different one. You're going to get more annoyed. Then you go back, and then it gets better. And then you kind of start to feel it. And then you're like, oh my god, I know how to give a prompt. The prompts are very important. And think about when you're writing a prompt, think about the agent as a junior, and I don't mean junior in a bad way. I mean junior in a great way. But it's someone new to your team. And how are you going to explain to them what you need to do? If you just say, go test this website, and this junior developers come in their first day, you have no idea what they're going to give you back, right? So the best way is basically just to really be very like you saw the prompts I had, a very long list, the instructions, very like to the point. Like you're literally saying to someone, do this, don't do this. Like almost telling a child. It's like how I teach my children, don't do this, do this, do this. So that's I think the biggest thing you need to do is understand how prompts work and how to write good reusable prompts that you can then go and use on another website again. Like my generation prompt I'm using on this website for the first time today, but I've used it on so many other websites and they are production ready websites. So I could go into any company and use that prompt. And maybe I just tweak it a tiny little bit because of their way of writing their tests or whatever. So that's what I would basically say. Understand how AI works with prompts and just dive in and do it.
All right, great. Uh, Moving on to the next question. Um, it's by Kunal Pratap, and he asks, "What kind of bugs can AI-powered debugging catch better than humans with Playwright?"
I don't know if there's such a thing as AI powered debugging can catch better than humans. Just sometimes the human eye misses things, and especially like small little things like uppercases, lowercase, things that your eye misses, AI can just find it better because it doesn't have our visual problem of seeing all things too much in the screen and whatever. We're looking at the screen for too long. Um, and sometimes it just gets there quicker than you sometimes. But you might be a powerhouse in like AI debugging and in debugging with Playwright, and you might not need AI ever. You might be just I'm a debugger. If you're like that's your job and you're very good at it, maybe you don't need AI. But I definitely need AI because sometimes I just like my tests fail. And I think as well because I'm doing a lot of vibe coding these days. AI is writing a lot of my code. Now I'm not even 100% sure of what the code is doing sometimes. I'm like writing my test and then the test fails, or I'm generating a test and the test fails. So getting AI to improve it is really beneficial. But always look over it with your own eye because you are the one that oversees everything. You're the one that's going to make that pull request, not AI. Although actually AI can make pull requests now, so that's kind of yeah. But you're the one that presses the merge button still, so you are the responsible one. So I would say depends on the mood you're in. Maybe it's a simple thing and you know how to fix it, or maybe you just want to like press the button, go and grab a coffee, come back and see what it gives you. Definitely gives you some great context messages, better context messages, and helps you understand what went wrong, which is also kind of nice for learning as well.
All right, great. So we are a little, tight on time, and I apologize if we couldn't take all the questions due to time constraints. But you'll find the answers to those questions in our Lambda Test community, and the link for the same has been given in the chat box. Before we wrap up, a few quick reminders. We encourage you to share your learnings over social media using the hashtag TestMuConf, and feel free to tag Debbie if you'd like to connect further. Along with this, the recordings of the sessions will be shared with you all soon. And don't forget to visit the expo booths and participate in the contests happening throughout the day. Thank you once again, Debbie, for such an amazing session. I'm sure the viewers enjoyed it thoroughly. And thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. It's been so much fun watching all you in the chat. So thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.